Alright guys, how's it going? My name is Memlo and I'm going to be going over a little bit of casting techniques and what people are typically doing, what I'm seeing other people start doing, just give you a little bit of a hint and just get things started. Nice little shot there by Talent into Hype. And what I want this to be is to be a comfortable thing. If you are going to be casting or have any need to be casting, you need to be comfortable with what you're doing. It's a conversation, and hopefully you have somebody else to be talking to, and you can kind of bounce ideas back and forth off that person, as well as comment on what's actually happening in the game, because that's the important part. Knowing the players, knowing what's going on the field, and just in general talking about the game. One thing to keep in mind is that your viewers, what is their knowledge of Rocket League? Depending on that, you might cater your commentary a certain way. So step one, I would say, is know your audience. If you have a brand new audience to Rocket League, then you're going to want to dumb things down a little bit. Talk about what makes Rocket League so interesting, what got you into Rocket League, why these players are so technically good at what they do, mechanically sound, knowing that boost is a resource on the map and that moving forward keeps your momentum going, knowing the different angles of the car and how that can hit the ball harder or softer. All those things are things that a new audience member wouldn't know. So remember the things that you didn't know at the beginning of Rocket League and explain those things to the best of your ability to this new audience. Now, if you're casting to players or people that already have the game or have seen the game before, you can kind of skip past a lot of that and you can kind of talk about the meat of the game. Using what you know about the game to be more analytical, talk about the game at a higher level, knowing that a double touch off the backboard is something that Devo is known for and that it's a tougher thing to do, knowing about ceiling shots, being able to talk about air rolling your car and half flipping, all those more difficult game mechanics is something a more experienced audience would understand. I'd say the second thing to know and talk about for casting is positivity. We are not critical, we are not coaches, we are not trying to break players down and tell them how to play better at the game. That's not our intent, that's not our purpose. Our purpose is to be communicating with the audience. When you're casting a Rocket League game, sometimes there's a incentive to be negative. Oh, I would have had that, or he should have had that for some reason, or that was an easy open net miss. I mean, you can call something like that out, but in general, you want to be positive with it. You want to keep that mindset of positivity and talk about the next play if something bad happened. Even easier than that is to talk about what the other team did that was so good that forced that error or caused that problem to happen. Just talk about the other team. It's easier. The third thing I want to talk about is types of casting that you can have. There are predominantly two types of casters. There are play-by-play and color commentary. For play-by-play, you are calling out as the play happens what is going on. And I'll give an example of that here in just a second. And for color commentary, you're being analytical. It's a break for the play-by-play person and a handoff to the analytical person to call out what the players are doing that is working out well for them, what they could be setting themselves up for to do next, how the play style has been happening, why the goals are happening, why the goals aren't happening, who's offensive, who's defensive. So being analytical of the actual gameplay is what a color commentary person is there for. For play-by-play, you need to be quick, you need to be decisive on what you're talking about. It's good to keep in team names and player names, so knowing who you're casting is going to be very important. If you don't know something, you can just say, hey, Astro was able to get that one past the defender. Hype is up for a really high ball, and he's able to knock it down to his teammate, but it's knocked away, and now they're crossing the midfield line. Being quick about what is actually happening in the game is going to be of importance. And if you feel yourself getting flustered, just take a break, take a breather, and let the viewers just follow along. Then you can compose yourself, figure out what you really want to say, talk about the upcoming play, and find your bearing. It's an important part, and a gap here is not a negative thing. And you can kind of recover. You can take a break from the play, allow your color commentator to take over, or just give that gap, let your viewers watch, and then come back in rejuvenated, ready for that next play. Here's a quick example of me doing some play-by-play. If you've been paying attention, the blue team has kept a lot of momentum in the orange zone. 10 seconds left, and Hype with a shot here, puts one on target. Astro able to get that one into the corner. Safe zone play for them, keeping that ball in the corner, but they are low on boost, and blue is keeping up the momentum. Lean with an opportunity, trying to find a teammate in front of the net. Precision to knock it to that far corner. Time is off the clock. Who will touch it down? Talent keeping this one alive, and Vitamin will knock it down. We are going into overtime. So just being able to flow into the game and call those play-by-plays, as well as keep momentum, keep that hype up, which is an extremely important part of play-by-play casting, is the momentum of the game is so quick-paced, and you're able to be hyped up about it and making sure that your audience is captivated by that. If you are being the color commentator, make sure that you are taking those opportunities to be analytical, talk about how the play could be differently, how you would like to see the teams improve. And if you don't really have anything to add, just play back to that play-by-play caster and feedback off of them. Try and provoke and stir the conversation and make sure that you guys are on the same page, and just keep that conversation flowing. Make it feel as natural as possible. One other aspect to add to your commentary is understanding that there can be two people talking at once, and it can get cluttered unless you do it right and you do it appropriately. So making sure that if you do have something to say, you wait for the right moment, or if there's something exciting, just drop back as that color commentator and let the play-by-play take over until you get that gap again. Sometimes there are those lulls and gaps in the play, but there are opportunities where you can talk over each other, and here's a quick example of that when there's a really exciting moment and both people could be talking at the same time. Just over a minute in overtime, Precision with a pass over to Astro. Astro with a rifle of a shot. This one's on target. It's just like that. It's over. Astro with a phenomenal shot. It's in the right place at the right time. Astro wins the game. So that's just a quick example of being able to talk at the same time with someone else. You can hear both voices distinctly. They're both saying different things, but it's complementary. So that's all I really have for this. That was my Casting 101. I hope you guys learned something from it. The key takeaways in this one are to know your audience. That's kind of step one. Step two is just being positive and not being highly critical of the plays. You're not a coach. You're not there to call people out for mistakes that they make. You are there to call the play-by-play and analyze what teams could be doing. And then the third step is knowing the casting types that there are out there. Sometimes knowing a role can really assist you with what you're trying to accomplish in casting. That'll do it for me. Again, my name is Memlo. Thank you guys for watching. Right here, this is kind of the outro. This is a fun play between Ficusson, Dmox, and myself. Hope you guys enjoy. Thanks again for watching.